Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. And it's not just one, it's not just two, it's not just three. It's a four-man booth to start the show. Welcome in. Bundy's here. This man, Todd Glickman, is here. We got big news. There's big stuff happening on pregame. There were a lot of people who were very excited. They thought the show was starting an hour early. That's intern Andrew's fault. He is banished from pregame this evening.
What did he do?
He set the stream a half hour early because, as we know, he has access to those things. Definitely wasn't me.
And he wasn't paying attention at the 7:30 start tonight.
It's a shame. You hate to see it. Anyway, we have to get into some really good things that are happening, and Todd is here.
You might have noticed they brought gifts. Todd brought gifts.
I did.
These little mini helmets, and what you might notice, yeah, they are the Flyer helmets, but Bundy's holding it up. It's got the Chevrolet logo on the side.
What is that?
First game tonight that you guys have a helmet sponsor in 3 seasons, I think it is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so tell us a little bit about this. How did this come together?
First off, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. We can't start without that. Without
appreciate
saying
it.
congratulations to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Bundy, thank you very much.
You got it, Todd.
First time, long time.
Yes, sir. Great to have you on, brother.
Known him a long time. So happy to be here with you guys. Seriously, this is
Thank
awesome.
you, buddy.
For me personally, been in with the organization 35 years, could not be more excited about what's happening tonight with Chevy as our helmet home and away logo tonight.
Oh, I guess my question is, you guys did it a few years ago, and then you stopped doing it for a couple of years.
Yep.
What do you think the reason was, or did you just need to find the right partner? Is that what it was?
That's it. Bingo.
Yeah.
It needed to be the right partner. And for us, look, a lot of conversations with Chevy, and I talked to a bunch of folks over the last couple of days. Chevy has been a long-time tremendous sponsor of the Flyers and Spectacor.
Right.
And then there was a period of time where it stopped. People change, things change. And we started to get into conversations with them really about the home and said, what do you think about the helmet? It's a tremendous brand. It totally represents what we represent as the Flyers. And then it very organically morphed into the away as well. And then we started talking about home and away, and boom, here it is. And that's how it went down.
So there was am I to infer by what you just said that there was a potential that you might have had a different sponsor for home than away?
Yeah, I mean, look.
It turned out that this was the right sponsor to be on both.
It's the right inference.
Right, okay.
It's the right inference.
Okay.
Because, and it really, honestly, it happened organically. We were talking about the home, and then we were talking about a game that happened on the road, and then it was like somebody from Chevy had said, hey, that's exciting. Like, who does the road? And then it just started in a conversation, and then there was a pause, and we said, let's do this. Let's do both. I don't want to split it. They didn't want to split it. And it's truly the right partner. And for me, the text messages today from both local stakeholders and folks nationally saying, way to go. That's a really strong brand for the helmet. And the league as well called us and said, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Well, you know what else is awesome? And this is the thing that I was most impressed with. And you guys buried the lead in the press release. I got to be honest with you. You buried the lead in the press release on this. You gave away free parking to people driving Chevys into the game tonight.
We did.
Whose idea was that?
That's real. That's great.
That's great.
That was our marketers and our comms folks, because we said, hey, let's get crazy. Give us the no, right?
Yeah.
Give us we can't do that.
Yeah.
And it was that. Everybody coming tonight that's driving a Chevy parks for free.
You know you've set the bar high now. For every future sponsorship, there's got to be something to give away to the fans.
I would have thought GM as a whole would have been fair.
I got a call, and they said, hey, is that for every game? I was like, whoa. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy.
I will say, it's not an egregious logo, which is
it's not.
Like in this day and age, as teams continue to try to add advertising, and I get it, and there's a financial incentive to doing it.
100%.
So often you see it where it just is ugly as hell, and it stands out. And I actively hate sponsors when they don't fit the aesthetic of the jersey.
I am with you.
This fits.
Look, our guys came to me with a couple of different options, and I was like, I can't pronounce the name of that company. And if I can't pronounce the name of the company, we can't do that. But something with Chevy, I think everybody that's seen it, or it's like, all right, I get it. That's great. I get it. That's great.
Yeah, no, I think you guys did a really good job with this one. And I'm not a big fan of sponsors.
I get that. Look,
I'm not. For any sport, and I'm not saying just hockey. Just in general, I think that I always loved the fact that the U.S. sports were not the European sports, and now we kind of have become. But if you're going to do it right.
Correct.
And I think this was the right one.
Yeah, I actually agree. I like it. I do.
Right?
It's not. It doesn't take up everything.
Nope.
You know it's Chevrolet, but it doesn't. It's not such an eyesore where it becomes like the uniforms in Europe at some of those lower leagues.
And it's not like, who is that? How do you pronounce that?
Right.
What is that? This is a money grab for them.
Yeah.
This one just fits. Think about the Philly. Bundy, you know this better than anybody. Think about the Philly fan.
Yeah.
Who represents us and represents the Flyer fan base right now.
Yeah.
And this for us is just such a natural.
Well, I'm going to throw this out to Tony Louie, who makes a very good point. Says, is Chevrolet going to sponsor Snow the Goalie now? I don't know. There might be an upsell. Who knows?
That's right. Todd, you got to make that happen.
You're talking to the right guy.
Yeah, that's right. And make that happen.
You're talking to the right guy.
One last thing for you before we let you go.
One last thing.
Because you told us something. This has nothing to do with the helmet sponsorship, but you told us something before we went live that nearly knocked me over.
This is amazing.
It's a true story.
You recently went to see Bruce Springsteen
In Asbury Park,
right.
on the beach.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool
Unbelievable
concert,
experience.
right? All right,
Unbelievable
fair enough.
How many of those have you been to, Todd?
Bundy. Asbury Park was my 160th Springsteen show, and that is a true statement.
160.
That's
160.
remarkable.
Obsessive.
1984 was my first show. Is when I jumped on.
That's right when he had Born in the USA, right?
That's exactly right. That is
1984,
exactly right.
Yeah.
160th show.
That's fascinating.
That's amazing,
That's
Todd.
bananas.
So did you know how many of them have been here?
You know what? The majority have been here. I met him here when we were closing down the Spectrum. He was doing that run.
Yeah.
Where it was at the Spectrum in the Wells Fargo or the Wachovia or whatever we were calling it then.
Yeah.
And I met him at the Spectrum. I had a little sign up that said Todd's 100th show.
Okay.
And my wife had it up and popped it up. And the joke was he's never going to see that. And he caught his eye, looked at it, and waved me up to the stage. I was sitting side stage where Clarence played.
Oh,
and
wow.
I popped over the dasher. Truth is, I crashed into the dasher board. And I popped over in my mind, and he pulled me close and said, "Thank you very much, 100 shows."
Wow.
I've seen Bruce
True story.
Springsteen live once, and you know where it was?
Here,
The Super Bowl
Tampa.
in Tampa.
Put down the guacamole and
Yeah.
push away from the chicken fingers.
Yeah, it was the
Yep.
Pittsburgh, Arizona Super Bowl. I was
That's right.
covering it, and he was the halftime act.
I appreciate you guys bringing it up.
Yeah.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
You guys do an awesome job.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Bundy, you guys do. And look, I've been here 35 years.
Yeah.
We've been down. It's been a long road.
Yes, it
you
has.
guys do an awesome job, and you guys, your dedication to the Flyers is unmatched. Whether it's, hey, we're frustrated, we're happy, we're winning, we're losing, unmatched. And from my perspective, I cannot say thank you enough, and I mean
Wow.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you enough for
thank
what you guys
you.
do.
That
I mean
means a lot to
I mean
us.
that.
It does. Thank
Yeah.
you very
Friend
much.
of the
Thank
show.
you.
Todd
Thank you.
Glickman,
Welcome back
Chief
anytime.
Revenue Officer.
Come on
for
anytime,
Comcast
Todd.
Spectacor.
Bring this Chevy sponsorship next time you come on.
That's right.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you.
We'll bring somebody from Chevy.
There
Bring
you
them
go.
on.
Bring
We'd love
them
to.
on.
We'd love to talk to them.
All right,
I
guys.
appreciate it.
Let's
Thanks,
get
brother.
them in. Go
Thanks
get them.
again.
You got it, bro.
All right,
Todd
bye.
Glickman, Chief Revenue Officer, Comcast Spectacor.
There we go.
Thanks for coming in.
He's as big a character as has been at Comcast Spectacor for years. That guy.
Yes, he
Todd
has.
Glickman,
Not
really
bad at
one
all.
of the best.
What
Yeah.
he is. I've known Todd
Great
for
guy.
a long time. He's
Yeah.
a great dude.
So,
And I want to address one thing. There was somebody who put a comment in, and you know, and they're like, oh, this is terrible. You shouldn't be talking about this right before pregame Flyers Canes. And let me say something. He said nobody cares. I will tell you, we put a story up on Pattison today about the helmets. Number one story of the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
People care about that. I don't understand why. I'll be honest with you. I don't get it. But when the Phillies put the IBX patch on their sleeve, or the Flyers put the IBX patch on their shirt, or the Sixers, whatever failed Bitcoin, whatever currency. Crypto.com. I couldn't remember what it was. Like, people get fired up about that.
They do.
So if fans are caring about it, we're going to talk about it, and that's why we set it up to have them come on and talk about it.
Listen, what is the point of this show? Is the point of this show to give you the same button-down nonsense you can find everywhere else? No.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go off the rails. Sometimes we learn about somebody who's gone to see Bruce Springsteen 159 too many times. but we do this. The logo on the helmet when it was, and we're not gonna bash the previous sponsor.
Right.
But if you remember, that was like a bright blue. It didn't match. It
was
made no
awful.
sense. Whereas this, listen, if you're going to do it, which if you're a pro team and you have the option to make extra money that way, sure. Now, I did see somebody say in the comments, it would be interesting if they extended the Chevy thing the entire season, or it would be interesting if the money that they make on that were, I don't know, to like lower the prices on something. I don't know. You know what I think would actually be nice? Maybe we find out that they use some of the funding for it to like fund an initiative or something with Flyers charities. Then cool. Then we report back. Bunny, bless you.
Thank you.
You deserve that blessing.
I do.
And you know what everybody else deserves right now? Some hockey talk. So
let's do it.
Let's get into Flyers Hurricanes.
Let me give you a couple updates first.
I love updates.
Love updates.
A couple updates. Obviously, they announced earlier today that the 3 defensemen are still out. They're not going to be playing tonight. So pretty much the same lineup as the other night, except Fedotov is in goal. I'm told that both Cam York and Emil Andre will be back Saturday. York is about what we expected. It was maybe a couple games longer than the initial prognostication, but if you remember what I said the other night, that Saturday was looking like more likely for him, so I'm told he will play Saturday. Andre is a little bit of a surprise. They originally thought it was probably going to be a 2-week injury. Turns out it's only going to be about a 1-week injury, but he's going to be back in the lineup. And there's a chance Jamie Drysdale also comes back. Now, if this all happens, if all 3 of them come back, you're going to see 2 guys get sent down. Obviously, Helge Grans is going to go back down, not because he's not played well. He played great in his last game. And we'll see how he plays tonight against Carolina. But even if he plays really well tonight, ideally it's like he's a guy, okay, showed us a little bit of something. Once you move Rasmus Ristolainen, he's a guy that can come up and be a right shot D in your lineup.
How pressing is the Ristolainen move? Is it something that's actively being discussed?
Well,
Anthony,
let's put it this way. A lot of defensemen are signing around the league. You're seeing some defensemen get contracts, right? So the more defensemen that were going to be free agents get contracts, the less available defensemen are going to be as you approach the deadline.
Right.
And so therefore, a guy like Ristolainen, as long as he stays healthy and keeps playing at the level that he's been playing at in the last, I don't know, since they've been, well, he was put together with Sanheim about 3 weeks ago, right, when York got hurt. That's when it was, right?
Yep.
If he continues to play at that level, he's going to suddenly fetch you probably more than you thought he was going to originally fetch you.
That would be great.
Right? I mean, I'm just saying. So the question for Danny will be, when does it get to that point? Do teams wait until the March deadline, or do they do it sooner? There's a lot of mediocrity in the NHL this year.
There sure is.
And there's a lot of teams that have gotten off to a bad start.
Correct.
Right? So maybe they're looking at it and saying, we still think we're a good enough team. We just need to fix that defensive, something on the blue line. Let's go get Risto now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's, but also if there's a pressing matter to move him, I would do it sooner than later.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
I mean, because he could go back down again.
Yeah.
And play, and then all of a sudden you're like, geez, why didn't we trade him when he was playing at his best?
The one thing that I have banged the freaking drum, I caught myself. I didn't say seal in French like the other night. The thing that drives me insane is when you're a team that could potentially deal some guys, deal them when they're at their highest value.
But you also got to remember that, you're right.
And it's also early in the season. I get that typically trades don't go down at this point.
But it's not even that. It's that the value for that player could be higher.
I don't think it will. Because I'll tell you why. Right now, the hockey that Risto's playing, I don't think is sustainable. I think that we have seen him at his peak, and I think right now where he's at is about his peak powers. I don't think
it's the best I've ever seen him play in my entire life. I've watched him since he was an 18-year-old in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I've never in a decade seen him play better than he has the last 3 weeks.
And so I don't think you can run the risk of letting this go closer to the deadline. In theory, if he were to maintain this level of play up to the deadline, sure, there's less money.
You don't think teams are more desperate in March than they are in November?
It's not about desperation.
Nashville's desperate now.
You also run the risk of how last year they wanted to trade him potentially. He got hurt. So if you run so if he's at his peak powers right now, Nashville's
But you
desperate.
don't know. But you don't know. There might be more teams that are interested at that point because
if his play dips back to what it typically can be.
I disagree with you on that.
I
disagree with you. If right now you might have, let's say you have two.
Let's go to the. I'll make a poll. I'll make a poll over on YouTube. We'll see what people think.
Let's say you have two.
Deal him at his peak powers now, or wait till closer to the deadline.
But it's not that cut and dry. It's not that simple. You don't know what the offers are right now. The offers might not be.
I'm saying if they're going to trade him.
That is true what Anthony's saying.
You might look
if
at
there's a team right now that's floating a first-round
if you're Danny Briere, you might. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they are.
If somebody's floating a first-round pick for him, I would be absolutely stunned.
But
I'd be stunned.
Yes, if they offer the first-rounder right now, then yeah, of course I do it.
If it's like a third, no.
But it might be a second.
If it's a second that can be conditional on some conditions.
I'll tell you right now that if you wait, you could get a
first.
first-round pick for Risto.
Assuming he stays healthy. It's just such a.
But that's any player. That's any player.
He's missed time each of the last 2 seasons.
Yes, but that's any player.
Yeah.
And you know what? It depends on what the injury is too.
If there's a first out for Risto right now, he'd already be gone.
Yeah, he'd already be gone if there was, and there's not. So
okay.
Anyway, the other note of that would be, and this is going to be kind of a little bit of a surprise, maybe to some people, is that in order for all these guys to come back, if all 3 of them are available come Saturday, they need to make room for all 3 to come back and play. They would have to send a second player out back down to the Phantoms, and that would be Anthony Richard, meaning Morgan Frost would be back in the lineup again. And Morgan Frost is a really interesting situation right now.
Yeah.
Because he's, and you've heard Tort say, I can't coach him like I've coached him the last couple of years. And what he means by that, Bundy, and you tell me if I'm wrong, what he means by that is he was coaching him to develop him in the last couple of years, and now it's all on the player, and the player's just not playing good enough, and so therefore he's the healthy scratch. Right? And that's what he's saying. And so really, and there was a nice article by Kevin Kurz in The Athletic today saying that it's nearing time for the 2 sides to part. And I think that they're, you sit there and say, well, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't played well for a while. You go back 50 games if you look at the end of last year, whatever. And you say, well, maybe he doesn't have value. But like you said the other night, Bundy, every team in the league needs a center.
Everybody does.
So if you're another team, do you look at Morgan Frost and say, that's a guy who's a change of scenery candidate, and I would be interested because I think he can help our team?
Yeah, as long as the Flyers understand that they may not get back with the haul that they thought maybe they were going to get back for him, being a former first-round pick.
Right.
So again, I don't know what makes sense for Morgan Frost and for the Flyers. It's going to have to make some sense, but at the same time, you can't expect to trade a guy when he hasn't been in the lineup and then get a return for a guy that hasn't played. So the only way to salvage, I see, Morgan Frost's situation is to play him and hope that he plays himself back into good graces with the coaching staff and management and the league so that they can move him. And then when scouts are here, they say, let's take a shot at him. If I'm another team, I don't know what's taken so long. I'll take him in a second. Because I'm looking at him as just having with a coach that just can't stand him. He can't stand the coach. Get him out of here. Just give him a fresh start somewhere.
We had the same conversation last year about,
It's been the same thing every year with him since Tortorella's been here.
And that's the thing is with the coach, it's like, if you are potentially trying to get some kind of
the coach doesn't like him, okay?
Yeah.
He doesn't like him. He can't stand him on the ice, so you got to get rid of him.
But as an organization, you need to have the guy play.
Well, then
to your point.
That's up to the coach.
Yeah, well.
The coach, I just told you, he doesn't like him. He doesn't even want him on the ice, Russ. So you have a problem, and that's why Anthony's saying you can't send him down because you'd have to waive him. And so the only thing you can do is send Richard down and put Morgan Frost back in the lineup. That's the only thing you can do.
I mean, as an organization, though, you don't want to dictate the lineup. You don't want Hextall to Hextall here, but
this is not true here. Jay Grubby's comment about Richard 2-point night makes it impossible. Do you know how many guys I've seen called up over the years that were career minor leaguers and they'd come up and get 2 points in a night?
Yeah.
And then there's a reason he's 27 or 28, and he's been in the minors forever. It's not like he's up here and he's going to all of a sudden turn into a star NHL player. Sorry, I'm just being brutally honest. It might be too honest for some people, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
So you have no choice. You're going to send him back down. He's not going to get claimed on waivers. He's not a threat at all of any of that. And he's done a good job on his call-up. But they've got to figure out what to do with the former first-round pick Morgan Frost and how they can get him playing. The one thing I'll say with Frost, he's been a second-half player in the past.
Yep.
That's something you can hang your hat on. But until they can find a way to get him in the lineup and have him start producing or playing at least a semblance of where another team will want him, it's a moot point because the coach can't stand him. I don't know that. He's never told me that. But look at the way he's treated him for 3 years.
Yeah.
He's treated him. I've seen livestock get treated better than that.
Yeah. I want to read a paragraph from Kevin's story because I think it was
seen
it was
dogs get
interesting.
treated better than
Yeah,
that.
well, no doubt. By himself, he himself.
Here's a paragraph from Kurz's story today, which is a really good story on Morgan Frost. He said he wasn't in much of a mood to chat after practice on Tuesday. Frost, one of the more affable players in the dressing room who seems to be well-liked by everyone, politely requested to cut an interview short. But he did offer one brief reply before that when asked what he needs to do to get back into the lineup and how he's handling being out. A visibly downcast Frost said a lot of things. Make more plays, be better defensively. It doesn't feel good, to be honest with you. He's mentally not right at this
He's
point.
shot.
Yeah, he's
mentally shot.
Yeah.
Can
Why
you
wouldn't
blame
you
him?
be?
I mean,
well,
even to start the season, he was the center for Matt Vimishkov, right?
in preseason.
Yeah.
Well, they
And
never
so-
even
and so
gave it
that-
a chance during the regular season.
And that's the thing, because of all the lineup juggling stuff. This is the problem with so much lineup jostling and not allowing these guys to find any kind of cohesion. You don't know for certain that Frost is not an NHL player or is not a potential, I don't know, say third-line center. If you want to somehow sell yourself on second-line center, you don't know because you haven't given him the talent consistently on the wings to allow you to show for him to show what he's got. It's never going to work.
The only way out of this is to move him, and that's it.
Yep.
Whether you get what you get for him, and eventually what will happen is if you can't trade him, you're going to end up waiving him and sending him down.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen, he's going to get dealt, right? He'll be an RFA. So the team that's getting him is actually getting the best version of Morgan Frost, a guy who's going to play for a contract. They have no reason necessarily to hang on to the guy, so it's not a sunken cost going into next year. And there's a high likelihood that he gets acquired by a team that puts him in a more advantageous position. He starts racking up points, second-half player, and then the fan base starts to revolt again. Just keep in mind where your thoughts are on Morgan Frost right now, that when he does start racking up those points elsewhere, that you've also given up on him.
He hasn't played well this year either,
Yeah.
though, in fairness to Torts. I mean, you
true.
can sit here and make Torts the bad guy all night, and maybe so, but, Morgan Frost hasn't done even the little things to keep himself in the lineup, but his confidence is shot, and I think mentally he's shot as well.
And do you think it was worth it all the years that the organization refused to even give him a look on the wing? Do you think that there's part of me that wonders if they inhibited his potential by being so rigid?
They tried him on the wing.
Not very much, though.
Not long though, but they did, and it was Torts who tried him on the wing, and you got to play a certain way, right? And look, he'll give you some leeway. Mm-hmm. Look at the leeway Konechny gets. Konechny makes
a lot of
dumb
mistakes.
mistake. He made a dumb mistake in the game the other night.
Yeah.
It resulted in a goal, right?
Did,
so he makes a lot of dumb mistakes, but because the guy puts points on the board, he scores goals. You give him a little bit more rope to do that because you're relying on that offense. Morgan Frost is supposed to be a better offensive player. So if you're not scoring, then you better damn well get back and play well in your own zone. And if you're not doing that and you're not scoring, well, then what value do you have, right? And so that's how Torts looks at it. The mind games may have affected him ultimately. Surprise. May have ultimately affected him, but the reality of it is that at this point, it's on the player.
Yeah, to perform. When he's
perform.
It is.
It's on the player.
Yep. Hey, real quick, let's get to some positivity here, although I do wonder. So Cliff says, can you please wish my wife, Adrienne, a happy anniversary, casting on our TV, and she's watching tonight. Thanks. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary,
But Cliff,
Adrienne.
aren't you part of this? He says, wish my wife a happy anniversary. Cliff, you're part of this.
Well,
That's how it works.
I think that he
don't
wants
think he wanted it to be wished to him as well?
us to wish her a happy anniversary
on his behalf.
on his behalf. Yeah.
Happy
Cliff,
anniversary, Adrian, from Cliff.
This is Cliff's gift to you. is to have us three knuckleheads say happy anniversary instead of him doing it.
I wonder, Cliff, if you forgot the anniversary this morning and you were in the Chateau Bow Wow all day, then we're going to... Adrian, you didn't hear that. Adrian, we want you to know that the reason Cliff didn't say happy anniversary when he woke up this morning is because he was saving it for this moment right now. Great guy.
So don't give him a hard time.
That's right.
He meant well.
Exactly right.
He did. He
All
meant
right.
well.
Now, we do have a couple of super chats that we should get to here. We were talking about trades a little bit ago. Rory says Danny needs to call Ron Francis out in Seattle and says acquire Shane Wright. Is there a scenario? They don't really need... You know, a lot of times you're looking for the hockey trade. Is there... Shane Wright hasn't lived up to what they obviously drafted him incredibly high for. I don't know. Is that a change of scenery? Is that a hockey trade, a one-for-one?
Could be. Remember, Shane Wright at one point was the consensus number one overall pick in that draft class. Then he fell back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, sure, sounds like a great idea. I mean, but does Seattle have anything that they, the Flyers have anything Seattle wants?
Morgan Frost.
At this point, right?
What year was Shane Wright's draft? Who went first that year?
Was that 2 years ago?
Was it 2 years ago?
Two or 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Someone will get it for us. So don't kill yourself over
Because he fell a few spots, and we thought that the Flyers were going to be in position to
yeah, he was originally going to be the number. Like a lot of people thought he was going to be the number one guy, and then he dropped back.
It was the 20.
Slavkovsky.
Intern Andrew.
Slavkovsky. Yeah,
Slavkovsky.
Yeah, Slavkovsky.
Anyway, I'm going to take. By the way, I'm taking down the poll, but just to update you on it, Ant. 55% agree with you. Hold till the deadline on Risto. 45% say trade now for a second/conditional first.
Yeah, I'm all.
3% voted for Jill Stein, and 0.5% voted for RFK.
But the other problem is, though, what Anthony's saying is true. It depends what the offer is. If there's an offer now and it's substantial, then it's time to go.
I don't disagree with you on that. If they were offering a first-round pick right now,
I'm not saying just deal him for dog doo-doo.
Sure.
I'm not saying just offload the contract.
But what I'm trying to tell you is the way these trade negotiations work. Everything starts with a low ball offer.
Sure.
And so what Danny probably got at the GM's meetings, I reported that last week while I was on my honeymoon. I was sitting poolside and said that he had gotten some offers, but they were not anything that he felt was of real value at that time, which is not a surprise because at that point, that's all you're going to get is the low ball offers. And then as a GM, it's up to you to kind of figure out, okay, if that's where their starting point is, how far can I push them before I get to the point where they say we're out?
Yeah.
Right? So that's the game, right? That's the game that Danny has to play, and he's got to figure it out from, not a lot of experience of negotiating with these teams. So, but I think that's where Jonesy probably comes in a little bit to help with that, because I think that Jonesy probably has a sense from talking to these GMs over the years as a broadcaster, kind of getting an idea of where they are, when they're at that point, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the chess match, right? That comes with hockey. So, or with any sport really, is just figuring out when the time is right to pull the trigger. These conversations go on all year long.
There is another super chat that I do want to get to, but we might do it in the first intermission because it's a fun one. I think we need to make sure that we get predictions in. Last time we got cut off a little bit early.
All right, do the predictions.
Bundy, you already told me yours, but why don't you let the people know?
I'm going with the team that's a puck possession nightmare, and that's Carolina. I'm going with them 4-2 tonight.
Yeah, look, the Flyers had a better defensive group in place in Carolina last week and still gave up 6 goals.
Yep.
So I think this is a tough matchup for them against the Hurricanes.
Very.
I'm going to go Carolina wins this one 5-2.
I'm going to, and you're going to be shocked by this.
Pick the Flyers?
I actually am picking the Flyers.
Yeah, because we took Carolina. I know how this kid operates.
He
just goes against the buck. It's a no-lose. The next 10 games you need to pick first because you're a little cheater.
I did it
and I watch how you do. You know you are. You're a little weaselly manipulator.
I picked first last game. Just because you're tall and you have nice hair and you don't look your age doesn't mean you get to slander, okay? I'm going to tell you why the Flyers are going to win tonight.
Go ahead.
All right.
It's not... Ivan Fedotov has played fantastic hockey, and there is a part of me that believes that Fedotov has now locked back into what made him a success at the national level for the Russian team, that made him an intriguing prospect for the team, and despite the fact that Carolina is a substantially more talented team, I think Ivan Fedotov is going to have a really big game.
Rolling with the Iron Giant.
This is Russ crossing his fingers, hoping so that he can sell merch. So that he can sell merch on our website.
Shop.snowthegoalie.com for the Iron Giant shirt. It's a great design. But I think that the Flyers are going to win tonight. I think the Flyers win 3-2.
Okay.
And Ivan Fedotov makes a few multi-bell saves. 3-2. Fly guys. Intern Andrew.
I will go 4-1 Carolina.
Pretty clean cut right across the board.
What'd you
there.
say?
4-1.
4-1 Carolina.
All right. You guys aren't believers. You know, there was that person who called me a jackass on Twitter the other day for not picking the Flyers every time.
He could have just stopped at jackass.
That's exactly right. Would have been accurate.
Yes.
Now, I just want to point out, I'm usually the one who's the most quote-unquote negative, and I'm the only one picking the Fly guys tonight. Well, that's fine. It's fine. Now, let's get, actually, Bundy, can we get to the fun question? I think we've broken this game down a decent bit.
Yeah.
Rob Ski with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate it. Says, sponsor question. Bundy, did the players really get a case of Tasty Cakes back in the day? Any good stories with that?
I have never, ever gotten a thing of Tasty Cakes.
Well, you didn't score.
No, but I didn't buy them either.
Now, if anybody from Tasty Cakes is watching,
never,
you can sponsor the Press Row Show.
Never seen a guy get Tasty Cakes. I'm sorry.
I love.
Should I lie and say I do?
No.
What's
no.
your
I've
favorite
never-
Tasty Cake?
What?
What's your favorite Tasty Cake? They need to sponsor the show along with Chevy. Go ahead. What's your favorite Tasty Cake?
Probably a Krimpet.
The butterscotch crimpets?
Yeah, I love those.
I love them too.
Yeah, they're really good.
Butterscotch
That's yours
crimpets.
as well?
Yes.
Intern Andrew, your favorite?
I don't think I've ever had one.
Come on. You've never had any Tasty Cake?
Are you?
Deirdre, I know you're watching, Deirdre. You never bought your boy a Tasty Cake when he was growing up?
Are you French seal?
He doesn't even know.
Like
Forsberg was in the Lindros trade,
about
I do
Forsberg?
now.
but you haven't had a Tasty Cake.
I'm a pretty picky eater.
All right, he's
You don't
off.
have to be
he's
picky.
off. He's
Okay,
banned.
that's it.
He's in trouble. He goes into Chateau Bow Wow.
I've never seen that, but I don't know where you heard that. But I'll tell you what, if they were giving away Tasty Cakes for goals, I would have improved my offense a little bit more.
Well, that's what Gene Hart used to say. It was on his call for years and years and years. Whenever anyone scored, he would say, that goal's for a case of Tasty Cakes.
Yeah, well, that's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. Okay,
It's
good. Yeah,
Tasty
and no,
Cakes.
it's never had. But you know what? Gene
Yo, the best
Hart
ones-
would make something up like that. It would just to make it sound absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
The best ones are the chocolate with the chocolate icing with the white stripe down the middle and the white icing.
They're good. I just think it's too much chocolate.
No, there's never said. No. It's the right amount of chocolate for the offset of the white on the top and in the middle.
The buttercream.
No. Oh, no.
The buttercream icing.
No, it's the chocolate. It's the chocolate icing and the white stripe down the middle.
No,
like
but I'm
a
going with
skunk.
the white icing as
Do you
opposed
guys
to
Oh,
know,
no,
what-
I don't-
do you
I don't
guys
like
know
the
what
white
they call
icing.
Tasty Cakes in Canada? Any Canadians here? They call them Vachon cakes.
Vachon
And they
cakes?
they have a thing
can't tell.
called like the May West.
Okay.
And the May West is very.
If this is like Blue Nui, I'm gonna hit you.
I swear to God, that's what they call it. They call it a Vachon cake. Someone will confirm it for me. One of our
Vachon
Canadian
cake.
people.
I love
Not
learning
Jean
things.
Valjean.
I love learning Canadian stuff and French stuff from you, Bundy.
Yeah, peanut butter chocolate are good too. Those Tasty Cakes.
Oh, the candy cakes
Yeah,
that you
they're
put in the
good.
freezer?
Yeah.
Yo, somebody who knows somebody from Tasty Cake. Let's get the show sponsored. We can crack them open. Ant's wife won't be happy that he's eating them, but he'll eat them on the show. We should do a challenge. Ant eats an entire box of Tasty Cakes.
Can't do that.
If we get to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Royale with cheese.
What?
That's
Royale
not
with
like-
cheese.
It's not a royal with cheese. It's a royale.
Royale is.
How many Tasty Cakes do you think the Flyers would trade Morgan Frost for right now?
They would take one right now because it's something that they're getting something back for them. They got it. Okay, we're not making light or fun of Morgan
we're
Frost.
not. We like-
We're being
nice
dead
guy.
honest. That's just
He's a nice guy.
We're just saying in plain English that if they're trying to trade him, easier said than done right now.
Yeah.
Because they don't have an activated player that they can sell to another team. However, I do think he has a lot of upside. I was a Morgan Frost fan. I believe it or not, I still am. I think he can go play for a team in this league. He's better than not playing in this league. I will tell you that.
On a human level, we will root for his success wherever he ends up.
We will do that no matter what.
100%.
He's a good guy. His dad, Andy's a good guy. And I don't necessarily think it's fair how he's been treated the entire 3 years, but I don't think he's played well enough this year to warrant the ire of John Tortorella or to get out of that doghouse.
Yeah.
He needs to play, and he needs to play great. He can't just play good. He needs to be great.
And that's what the Flyers will need to be in order for us to have a happy
There you
first
go.
intermission show.
You got
There you go.
confirmation.
There you go.
There you go.
Vachon Cakes, May West. Yeah, very
We will
very
be
good.
back during the first intermission. Make sure if you haven't done so, go subscribe to the Snow the Goalie YouTube channel. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, and we will talk to all of you. First intermission here on the Press Row Show. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. I said Ivan Fedotov would have a big game, and boy did he ever. 30 seconds in, a deflection. The only goal, though, of the period for either team. Carolina with a 1-0 lead. Both teams 10 shots in the period.
That's the biggest surprise to me.
Aha!
Yeah.
I mean, really, the Flyers had some chances. They didn't cash in. They missed on a couple.
Matt Vey
had one right on the side of the net.
Anthony
Richard had one. Was it Owen Tippett also had a chance there that took too long to get the shot off. So there was a few real good chances. I'll give the Flyers credit in that regard, but I think in a game against a team like Carolina, you got to cash in on those because you're not going to get many. And I don't know how long you can continue to play in that way against that team.
I agree with you, Anthony, and I think the way Carolina, that's probably the sloppiest period they've played in a while. And I'm sure they're gonna have a talking to from their coach Rod Brindamore. They were just a little bit too loose around their defensive puck in the D zone for them. And the Flyers, to their credit, they thought they played a pretty good period. Bad start. Puck got redirected by Jordan Martinook up into the top shelf on Fedotov, but he was pretty good as well. Stopped.
That 2-on-none.
2-on-0 breakaway stop, made a good play on the pass. He's been pretty solid that period.
I have to say, like, all things considered, we talked about this pregame. Carolina, on paper, a much better team, much more skilled team. But to be able to get out of that period, I mean, Bundy, how debilitating or how deflating can it be as a home team to give up a goal in the first 30 seconds? Is it something that, like, is it easy to just kind of wipe away because you've barely gotten settled in?
You don't even realize it. I mean, you're down, you're like, oh, darn, you're down 1-0, but there's so much time left in the game. You know, there's 59 minutes left. I mean, you got a whole game to worry about. That's nothing you can worry about. I mean, it was a good shot, redirected, nothing you can do. It happens. It could have happened 8 minutes into the game, or it could have happened in the third period. It's 1-0 Carolina. And the Flyers, if they're going to win this game, are going to have to fight back again. And they've done a good job when they've been down. I don't like to see them down in games. I like to see them up more in hockey games to give themselves a better chance. But they fight when they're down, and they're going to have to fight again here tonight. And I be honest with you, I think Carolina can only play better than what they just showed in the first period.
I'll give you an observation that I had, and I haven't even looked at the numbers, so I don't even know if what I'm about to say is accurate. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it seemed to me, Bundy, like the pairing of Zamula and Grans was on the ice more than Sealer and Johnson.
They were.
Right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So they kind of get that second pair look, and that's kind of a little bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, they, you know what? But that Grans has been just solid. He hasn't made any mistakes. He just keeps things simple. He moves the puck. He defends when he has to. He's a nice player. I'd like to see, how he continues to develop. It looks like, they're gonna run out of bodies here when they start getting everybody back.
Yeah.
But certainly, you have a guy that can be possibly a player for you, a long-term player on the mainstay team.
I want to do a little hockey 101 for everybody.
What's that?
Bundy's going to teach the class because I was talking to him about it during the period. And there was Torts had a quote the other day when he was talking about Grans, and he said, defensemen are weird. Sometimes they play better in the NHL than they do in the AHL. And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to run that by Bundy and see what he has to say. And he said,
well, you know what? And I played 34 games in the minors and during the lockout in '94. And it was a harder league to play in than it was in the NHL for me.
Really?
Players are all over the place in the minors. There's no structure. When you come around the boards if you're a left defenseman and you pick the puck up on the right and you wheel the net, the winger's not there all the time. You have to actually then resort to trying to make plays, and that's where you get yourself in trouble in the American League or in the lower leagues when you do it. When you come up here and you round the puck, the net to make a pass, the winger's at the boards. The winger's at the boards, and the center has timed it perfectly for support. It's too chaotic down there. There's too many guys that are trying too many things, too many nights to impress the GM that may be at the game. And unfortunately, you're never really going to find a lot of good team sport in the minors because you have a lot of individuals that are trying to impress to get to the NHL.
I guess it really is just a matter of the bodies, and I know that, you don't want to overreact to just a few games here, but, like, is there any pause in the decisions that are made? Like, they don't have to necessarily rush back an Emile Andre or a Cam York by Saturday. Like, does this maybe does it affect their math at all, Ant, about having Gronz maybe get one more game in under his belt?
No.
Not saying that they wouldn't bring one of those guys back just to keep him here, but maybe to give him another.
I mean,
another game
the only way I think he stays is if all three don't come back. So, like, if Drysdale's not ready Saturday as well.
Okay.
Actually, he probably goes down anyway, because you're thinking about.
You would take Zamula and Johnson out.
No, I don't think you're taking Zamula out at all. I mean,
Really?
Zamula's playing bigger minutes tonight. Nick Seeler didn't have a great game the other night. Really didn't. One of the weaker games that Sealer's had this year. Not to say that you're taking Nick Seeler out, but they've certainly looked at Zamula and Gronz tonight as the middle pair. So it makes you wonder how that would work. I just think if you're bringing two defensemen back and both are coming, and one of them's coming off of IR, somebody's got to go down. And you're not going to send a forward down when you're bringing a defenseman back off of IR. So I think that Gronz is going to be the guy that goes down. But that's not a bad thing. Again, like we're saying, I mean, he's a right-hand shot. He's your heir apparent for Rasmus Ristolainen once you trade him. And you can sit there and go, you know what, kid? You had two really good games. We're impressed by the way you've played. Go down, keep working hard. You'll be back up here soon this season.
Right before we get to intern Andrew's stat of the night, I do want to go back to this previous one from Tony Louie, who said that 4-year extension for Seeler wasn't a good idea. Don't react to that. If they are able, like, say Zamula continues to play well, say they are impressed with Emile Andre, say they've gotten a good look at Gron, is it out of the realm of possibility that at some point between now and the trade deadline, another team steps up and says, we actually would be interested in Nick Seeler? Would the Flyers consider it if they've been able to get a good enough look at some of these guys?
You consider anybody, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say the guy had one bad game. Oh, that's a terrible contract. You can't. Come on. I mean, we can't live in the moment like that. I mean, that's silly.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy had last week was really good. Like when they were winning games and playing well. Like Nick Seeler was blocking a ton of shots, eating up some minutes. Like he was playing some good defensive hockey, good structured hockey. He had a bad game against Colorado. Okay. It doesn't mean he's a bad contract.
Right.
Come on.
Okay, let's get to Greg from Vineland's favorite part. I don't know what happened to Greg. Greg used to come up here and say nice things to us, and he has become the ultimate stan for intern Andrew. I mean, he even said in the comments over here, all right, it's time for intern Andrew's stat of the night. I think he wants him to be promoted to, like, co-host or producer.
He's still got the prospect patch on his back.
Or maybe the grand poobah. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's a love that Greg from Vineland has for intern Andrew that cannot be measured by words. Welcome to the first intermission show.
He's a supportive guy. What can I say?
All right, go ahead. What's your stat of the night? Is it good?
So it's a little bit of irony in this one, and I'll piggyback off of what my stat of the night was on the other night. What day of the week is it? Wednesday, so Monday?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that Matvei Michkov point streak ended. He did not extend it to 5 games on Monday. However, if you want to go back to October 15th against the Edmonton Oilers, he had 2 goals in that game. If he is able to do that again before he turns 20, the first week of December, he will become just the second Flyers teenager in team history to have multiple 2 or more goal games, with the only other one being Eric Lindros. Eric Lindros, who ironically, I don't know if you guys know this, was not drafted by the Flyers. He was drafted.
He got drafted by Quebec.
By
and
the
got
Quebec
traded by
Nordiques
Quebec to
and got
Philadelphia
traded
for Forsberg.
Right, for a
Yeah.
young Swedish forward named Peter Forsberg.
That's very good. That's very
So
good.
the funny thing is, no other Flyers teenager has done it more than once. Eric Lindros in the 92-93 season did that 17 times as a teenager. I'm sorry,
Wow.
7. I'm sorry,
Wait.
7.
I was going to say, he didn't have 17 2-goal games.
17 2-goal games.
I misspoke.
All right, he was on a roll, and then
I misspoke. 7 as a teenager. So Michkov's turning 20 December 9th, which means including tonight, he has 9 more games to try to do it.
Okay.
all right.
There you go.
There we go. That'd be something.
Well, if he did that,
And
he'd be putting up goals at an alarming pace.
That'll help my AP story if that happens. So I'm rooting for it.
All right, there you go, Anthony.
Well done, intern Andrew. There he goes.
That's good.
That was a good stat. You know, a good stat of the night. I think he's starting to find a groove.
Yeah.
The intern. He's figuring it out.
He's found a groove.
He's finding a groove. All right, he's finding a groove.
What?
So, we got a big game coming
I thought
up.
a guy was about to kick the light again.
No, I saw you look.
He was thinking about it. He's about to try to play the organ.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
We're about a little over a week away from the annual Black Friday game.
Yes, we are.
Against the Rangers again.
Which happened in 2018.
That was when we made our bones as a podcast.
That is.
That night with the Press Row show.
I have to go back and pull that clip for next week.
You put me on the spot so bad. So, Bundy, the story going back to this. So it was the Black Friday game in 2018.
We should save this for next Friday, don't you think?
No.
Because I'll pull the clip.
You can play the clip,
Okay.
but I want to tell. I'll tell the story. So we had just started the Press Row show.
Okay.
Russ and I sitting over there on Press Row, and I was talking to a couple of Flyers people during the first period. And I come back and I sit down next to Russ, and I made a big mistake. And I told him, because at the time there was a lot of smoke out there that the Flyers were going to fire Dave Haxtell. And I sat down and I said,
I actually goaded somebody into reporting it, and it was wrong.
I said to Russ, I said, I just talked to a couple people who told me Haxtell's not the one who's going to go first. That Hextall's more in danger of going. And he looked at me. He's like, no way. I said, I'm telling you. And he's like, well, let's talk about it. I'm like, I'm not reporting it. I said, it was an off-the-record conversation. I'm not reporting it. So this guy, we turn on the camera, and we're in the middle of doing this intermission, and he goes,
it was pregame.
Was it pregame?
It was pregame, for sure.
All right, it was pregame. So he goes, so Ant, if the things keep going poorly for this team, is it possible that the general manager's in trouble, just like the coach too? And I was like, I just told you.
Blow your cover. Don't say anything.
I cannot report this. And so now I got to speculate about a question that he just teed up because of the information
Now,
I had
fairness,
just given him.
if we hadn't done that, would we have made our bones with the show? Would we be partnered with the team and doing all the fun stuff? Probably not. So sometimes it's life is. What did Kermit the Frog say up at Christmas Carol? He said, life is a series of meetings and farewells. That is the way of it. And in fairness, it is a lot of meetings and farewells. He said farewell to Hextall not long after.
Well, so the whole question I was going to ask before I went off on that tangent, the last year, if we remember, last couple was it 2 years? 2 years ago it was at the deadline, but last year it was on Black Friday. A lot of New York fans.
Oh, big time. Way too many.
A lot of New York fans. Wasn't as bad as 2 years ago. When 2 years ago was right before the trade deadline, or was it? Yeah, it was right before Fletcher got fired.
Yeah.
When it was 70% New York fans in here. Last year wasn't as bad, but still a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think for next Friday?
Well, as we all know, I made a very bold prediction about Mets fans traveling to Citizens Bank Park, so I am by no means the expert on this. I think it's going to be, I'd say a 60-40 crowd, 60-40 Flyers, and I think that's actually pretty respectable.
I sure hope so.
Especially for the thing that I was wrong about with baseball was that it was a playoff game, right? I mean, that's a totally different thing. Hockey is significantly cheaper here than it is to go to Madison Square Garden.
Big time.
And there are a lot of people from the New York area that have family down this way, and it makes sense. 60-40, and I think that as long as this game and the next couple home games go well enough where you don't crater, this looks like it could be a good game, people will come out. And I think a lot of people have already bought their tickets based on Mishkov. Like we said a bunch of times, a lot of people bought tickets to the first 15, 20 home games specifically to see Mishkov. While there will be third-party sellers and there will be probably ticket brokers and crap that will sell to out-of-market people, I think you'll see a strong Flyers crowd on Black Friday.
Yeah, and Buddy, you got notification that there's limited.
We had limited seats for alumni for that, so we're just asked to if we want to go to the game, you can just only request 2 tickets. For example, like a game like tonight, a Monday night or Wednesday night, if it's a slower game, you can get maybe 4 tickets sometimes. But those games, we were told already, you can't get more than 2. And, of course, not every alumni requests tickets, but we were told to keep it to you and, a family member.
Yeah. Can I just say, I know that this is maybe sacrilege, I actually don't mind when it's closer to a 50-50 crowd in a rivalry game like that, because Black Friday, you're still trying to shake off the turkey. You know, you're trying to, what's the stuff in the turkey that?
Tryptophan?
Tryptophan. You're still trying to shake off the tryptophan, right? You still have the cranberry sauce jiggling around in your belly. The idea of coming in and it being a playoff atmosphere, which it will be on Black Friday if it's like a 60-40 split, I encourage it. It's a great thing.
I hear this all the time, this comment when I played for the Flyers, and it obviously wasn't me. We had 88 on the team, as well as a few other great players, but we were sold out like every night. Like, and I used to hear people like tell me, like, we used to hang on every game day when that era in the 90s. People just loved it. So, you know, the team's building back again. They want to see the attendance increase every single night, but it's gonna take a good team that you know has got a chance to win and go deep in the playoffs for a full commitment back.
The good thing is, if it is closer to a 60-40 and your team wins, you get to laugh at more Rangers fans when they leave instead of just like 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
I look for the positives in everything. My last name is Joy, after all. Bundy, what is it that you would expect of the Flyers? What's the one thing that they should build on that they did well in the first period that they should look to do again in the second?
They had a good power play, I thought. They didn't score. They missed a couple tap-ins at the side of the post on each side. Mishkov most notable. They have a power play to start for about 1 minute and 38 seconds, I think, something like that. Take advantage of that power play if you can. I know usually the stats say they don't dictate power plays aren't. It seems like it's going to be easier, but it doesn't work out that way on a clean sheet of ice. But the Flyers can manufacture some good offense. If not score, then at least carry that into the period.
Good stuff. Anthony, anything you want to say? You didn't talk a lot during this intermission.
What do you mean? I just told an entire story.
That was a story. That wasn't, giving the people the insight about the hockey game.
Oh, we covered it. I mean, it's a 1-0 game after one period. What the hell do you want me to
let's
say?
Bring intern Andrew back for a second stat of the night. All right, we will be back in the second intermission. Trivia time with intern Andrew. Other hilarity. And we'll be breaking this down. Don't forget, Ivan Fedotov having a big game tonight. You heard it here first on the Press Row Show. We'll talk to all of you in the second intermission. Welcome back into the Press Row Show, where we're in a somewhat surprising spot here.
Barn burner.
1-1 after 2 periods. Carolina puts up another 10 shots. The Flyers counter with 5 of their own. Ivan Fedotov, a beautiful moment at the end of the period where it looks like he's about to give one up.
Did you say beautiful?
He makes a save. He lays on the ice, probably a little bit longer than he should. Look like Kate Winslet in Titanic. Paint me like one of your Russian girls. And then dives across and makes the save. You called it dumb luck. I call it the Iron Giant. Shirts available over at shop.snowthegoalie.com. Gentlemen, how are we feeling after 2 periods?
It was a much more defensive second period, both teams. I know Carolina ended up getting 10 shots. They got a few there at the end. For a while, it was kind of like 6-4 Carolina for much of the period there. And then all of a sudden, it was a little flurry at the end. And like you talked about, Fedotov making those saves. And the second one was, he needed to get up sooner, but he made the save. Hey, you'll take it. 1-1. I thought Ryan Paling's goal was a lucky goal in the sense that the goalie should have made the save.
Oh, yeah. Routine shot, no screen.
Right.
Usually you don't see those go in very often.
Yeah, Bundy. It was just a period of hockey is what it was.
Yeah, it was. And, the Flyers have got a little bit of mojo going in this game, though. I mean, I will say that. They've pushed the pace. Carolina had some really good stretches as well, but they weren't able to capitalize. There's not a lot of really good scoring chances inside the hash marks in either zone. There's not been a lot. So teams are trying to repossess the puck and cycle it, but there's not a lot of time and there's not a lot of space on either end of the ice.
Thing I noticed, Scott Lawton not getting any time there in that second period. He was rooted to the bench for quite a bit.
I wonder if he's banged up or if he just wasn't producing enough for Torts' liking.
Well, he shifted the lines around several times again.
No, never.
So it's hard to tell, like, if what it is. But he was on the bench. He was sitting there. Just wasn't going to him. So it's going to be interesting to see. Keep an eye out for that in the third period. I got to imagine he comes back out and if he's on the bench, then it's not an injury.
Right.
That it's coach's decision. So we'll have to see how that plays.
Ryan Paling got the goal, so they used him more in that period. I thought he played probably more than you would have been used to seeing a guy like that play in a game like this. But, he did score. He's been effective. Owen Tippett, he's looked good, but he doesn't get the puck anywhere. Like, he gets the puck out, he skates well up the ice, but it never gets directed or never, for some reason, he just doesn't funnel things to the front of the net.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just... It's tough.
A period of hockey.
It's tough to watch sometimes because you're seeing something like... And, Bundy, right there at the end, I don't know, it was a minute to go, minute and a half to go. Zamula, high slot, clear look at the net. And rather than take the shot, he's looking to make a pass to the side of the net and looking for a redirect or a tip or whatever. But it's not the shot from a very high danger scoring area.
Right.
Like, sometimes it's the simple play. That's all you need to do.
Less is always more
in
games like that, and I think that the Flyers have to understand that a shot is a good thing. But you can't be dishing off passes when it's not there. The Flyers are challenged enough offensively. It's hard enough for them to get sustained play, sustained chances in a game. Carolina is an excellent puck possession team. That's what they do. They like to hang on to the puck, and they haven't been quite as good tonight as they have been in some other nights.
I'm going to pull up a comment here that, Bundy, I'm sure you and I are the only two are going to get.
Okay.
Oh, not that one. The one above it.
This is what happens when we give you tech ability.
Justin Park says, Owen Tippett is Charlie Conway in real life.
That's Mighty Ducks. Isn't that Mighty Ducks? Wasn't Charlie Conway Mighty Ducks?
The only Conway I ever really paid attention to was Tim. Now, these guys would have no clue who that is, so I'm not even going to go there.
Tim Conway. I know Tim Conway. Dorf on golfing.
Oh, he's just amazing. Just amazing.
I do have a number. Somebody was asking about Scott Lawton's minutes tonight. He's played 4 minutes and 48 seconds.
Wow. 2 minutes.
Stats courtesy of my employer, Sport Radar.
2 minutes and 20 seconds a period. That's 4 shifts. You're looking at about 4 shifts right there.
#1 sports data company in the world, in case we were wondering. Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal if you were a Scott Lawton fan.
Could have had a first rounder for him.
Ryan Cornelius is right, by the way. Win the period, win the game. Russ being optimistic, stock on the rise. I came into tonight. I don't know what it is. Today I just felt positive. I knew that the Flyers would have a good performance, and I told you Ivan Fedotov would have a big game. Now, there's 20 minutes remaining. Remains to be seen how it'll go. And you know what? Why not continue with the positivity? Let's get to everybody's favorite second intermission show segment.
We talk more about Tim Conway. Because that's when funny was funny.
By the way, Lawton's 8 shifts.
8 shifts for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bobby Brink's the other guy who's not getting a lot. He's 6:54 ice time so far through 2.
We got trivia, right?
Yeah, we
All
have
right,
trivia.
Trivia's coming.
Let's do it, Andrew. Let's do it, kid.
So, Anthony, do you remember when we did the alumni game from the locker room downstairs last year?
I do.
We had the Stanley Cup in the background.
Yes,
And you, because you're a very nice guy, offered to take a picture of me with it.
I did.
And I refused because I said, well, coincidentally, when I was 10, I actually had my picture taken with it already. If you don't know this about me, I was living in Apex, North Carolina when the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup in 2006.
Okay.
My next-door neighbors, shout out to Alex and Timmy, their mom worked for a company that was very big sponsor of the Hurricanes at the time, so they had like a corporate event, and I got to take my picture taken with it. So somewhere in circulation is a picture of me with the Stanley Cup wearing a Hurricanes shirt and a Flyers hat.
Deirdre, we need that photo.
I'll find it somewhere. Anyways, point being, I remember that 2006 Hurricanes run very, very well.
Okay.
So can you name the 3 former Flyers that were on that Hurricanes team?
Yes.
Well, Rod Brindamore.
Justin Williams,
Yes?
Mark Recchi.
And there you go. All right, that was a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be.
Wait, that was the trivia question?
Yeah,
I think that the stat of the night was...
Was good.
it probably was.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this was bad. That was just...
Your mom confirmed that's a true story.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Recchi, I thought would be a little bit harder to get because he was a mid-season
Yes, he was.
addition for Carolina.
Yes, I do remember that.
All right,
Hey,
whatever.
here's a real trivia question from Kyle Adams, who very clearly paid attention during pregame. Trivia question. What went wrong in intern Andrew's life to never have eaten a tasty cake?
Well, Deirdre's watching, so maybe she can give us
Deirdre,
an answer.
Can you just give us some insight? Like, what happened?
You were naming a bunch of like peanut butter flavored tasty cakes. I have a peanut allergy, so that's,
Okay, so
that's
look-
most of it.
That's fine. I
they're not
understand
all-
that.
They're
Okay.
certainly not all peanut.
You can have a tasty cake
said
pie.
wait, we said one that had peanut. It was the candy cake.
Candy
The
cake's
choc-
got
yeah.
the peanut. Yeah.
And listen, by the way, you suffer anaphylaxis for that. Like, you get the EpiPen ready
Yeah,
for
I have
for
one
a-
in my backpack
for
actually.
a candy cake.
Yeah, I have one in my backpack. So if I start
A
dying
candy
up
cake
here,
or an
you're-
EpiPen?
No, an EpiPen. So if I start dying up here, you're gonna have to stab me in the leg with
You know
it.
what? That means that every time. By the way, Kevin Kurtz is probably the happiest guy in the arena tonight. They brought back the full-size M&Ms. That means that we have to always
You know
check
what?
these M&Ms to make sure.
You know why they brought the full-size M&Ms back?
Because he complained on the press row show.
Because you guys complained on the press row show.
Kate said I'm allergic to Peter Forsberg. Not true.
Allergic to peanut Forsberg? Is that what it is?
Aw.
Come on, it's Dad Joke Wednesday, right?
Well, at least Peanut Forsberg wasn't in New York because we know how that would have ended. Justice for Peanut. Anyway, anything else you have for us tonight?
I don't think so.
I don't think Ant knows who Peanut is, which is upsetting.
Who, me?
Yeah.
You know
You don't
who
think I don't
Peanut
know who Peanut the Squirrel is?
All right. Checking.
Come on.
Oh yeah.
He was the
Oh,
government
you didn't
overreach
know.
squirrel.
That poor little squirrel. What did he ever do?
Government overreach.
Do
What
you-
did he ever do?
When the Hurricanes won that Stanley Cup, do you remember who the Flyers lost to in the first round?
What year was that?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Brian Campbell. I can't remember who the announcer. I think
That's
it
who
was
Carolina beat in the semis.
Joe Beninati said Brian Campbell cold-cocked R.J. Umberger.
Yeah. Well, you know what the interesting thing about that was is I thought Buffalo was the better team than Carolina, and Carolina beat them in the conference final. Briere was on that Buffalo team.
Broke
Yep.
my heart.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess do we?
Dave Wallace.
Harambe and Peanut are
Harambe
legends.
went back to
Harambe's
Harambe.
the big
Big
gorilla,
The
right?
gorilla,
Yeah.
yes.
You know,
Harambe.
nobody knows the name of the raccoon. What was the name of the raccoon? It was Peanut the squirrel, and there was a raccoon, so you didn't even know.
Yeah, the raccoon was part of that too. They killed the raccoon too.
Didn't know that. I remember. You remember Flacco the owl?
No, there was Peanut, and then he had like a brother there. It was a raccoon.
Somehow we went from they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, to they're actually killing the squirrels and the raccoons.
They actually did do that.
What's happening?
Maureen. There we go.
What?
Here's a good trivia question.
What?
I know the answer to this one too. Peter Forsberg was an early investor in what footwear?
His boots.
No.
I know this.
I know,
Crocs.
Crocs is correct.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is Crocs?
Crocs is correct. And I remember when he walked in, he was on the Flyers, as a matter of fact, when they were just starting to become popular, and he was making all the guys wear them as bathroom shoes, as like shoes to shower.
I
to
played
shower
with him too. I think he actually handed us a pair of them.
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah. Yes, you remember that, right?
Yeah. Real
Yeah.
fugly things.
Yeah, and then they became a big style thing. But back then, they were meant to be like
Fred the
shower
raccoon.
shoes.
That's it, Fred. Fred the raccoon, yeah.
Fred the raccoon. Hey, pour one out tonight for Fred the raccoon and Peanut the squirrel.
Great pull right there on
Yep.
Fred.
That was great. Who was that? That was Alex. Alex is the one who shouted that out. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
That's greatly appreciated. Alex is correct.
Yes. Look at all the stuff that we're talking about that's not hockey tonight.
Well, we could get back to
Doing this on NBC Sports Philly or
I don't think
TNT
so. You know
tonight?
what? No, I don't think so.
That's right.
I don't think so.
They're not having this conversation
Well,
on
I'll
TNT.
tell you what, I still think it was pretty upsetting out there watching Matvei Michkov attempt to play with skill. They didn't do that when I played. I just fell down all the time. All right, guys, as we get prepared for the third and final period, Bundy, you know, we talked about a key to the second period for them to continue. What is it that the Flyers need to do the most in order to put themselves in position to at least pick up 1 point, if not both?
Keep working the offensive zone. I mean, they've had some chances. They've been able to hang on to the puck a little bit. And their defensive gaps have been really good in this game tonight. Carolina has not had a ton of time and space. So this is a time and space game tonight because there's not a whole lot of it on either side of the puck. So someone's going to have to really bear down and buckle. And I guarantee it'll probably be an ugly goal right around the net. Whoever gets the next goal. I guarantee it.
You think next goal wins it?
Yeah. Next goal wins.
And?
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
It's not going to open up in the third period.
No.
Can I tell you guys about the jersey I saw here tonight?
Oh,
No.
go. Yeah,
No, go ahead.
Somebody had a number 79 jersey on, right?
Okay.
Except they added an S to the front of it. He was sitting right there in front of us. I can't believe you guys didn't see it. It said Shart. He's up here
Gonna add
still.
that
We gotta
timestamp.
find him.
You got to go find the guy.
I gotta find the guy.
You got to find the guy.
Find Sharp. Where did he go? You gotta find him.
Hi, everybody. Good
If
to
we
see
can
you.
find him, we'll bring him on
We got
post-game.
to. We got
I
to.
gotta find him. He's up here. I'm gonna go find him
I mean,
and bring him
sometimes
over.
people like they'll
He
change.
added an S in front of the heart and kept the jersey.
I
I'm
wish
like,
he was like right here because we still have 5 minutes left in his intermission. We could
Brad
just grab him.
Miller says that he once saw a fart. He saw a fart.
I saw that one online. That's where I thought Bundy was going. But
no, this was.
when he
I
said the
was
S.
like, wow. And it was all one word. It wasn't like he's put the S in front of it. Like he had the whole thing changed.
We get the whole nameplate.
Oh wait, he changed the whole.
Absolutely. Oh, it's all
Wait, so
changed,
it's
baby.
centered? It's not like just
No,
tacked
he
onto the
didn't
front.
just paste an S like with the to make it. No, this was a whole brand new set of lettering.
This
on
was
there.
dedication.
Intern Andrew.
You got to go.
I'm going to go
Which
find
way-
that
which-
guy.
Was he over here?
He's around here. He was sitting there watching TV.
All right,
I
we're
was
sending
gonna-
intern Andrew on assignment to go find Shart before.
Yes, if you got 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes, intern. All right, he's gone.
You got to pull him off the camera.
Yeah, we're gonna take him off the
So you
camera.
see-
Oh,
yeah.
there he is. I can see him from here. I can see him. Andrew's. He's right behind the pillar right here.
Oh, he's right here. Andrew passed him.
Andrew's gone.
You want to go grab him, Bundy?
All right,
Bundy's going to grab
Bundy's
him.
gonna go grab
Bet
the
this is
Shart.
fantastic.
This is why people check in on the press row
Like you're
show.
not. You are certainly not getting this anywhere else.
This is the number one pregame, intermission, and postgame show. Some people think we're joking. Now, what? You know what they're probably doing on NBC right now? They're probably at a commercial, or it's TNT. They're at a commercial.
Apparently, they were interviewing John Hamm.
No,
Was that
that
not?
was a Perrant jersey. I could only see the T. I could only see the T from around the
Okay.
corner, but it was one of the burnt orange.
All right,
jerseys.
intern Andrew's still out there.
Okay.
Ryan Schiffler says, I think he's in the bathroom.
That's a good one, Ryan. That's really funny.
This guy it was too good.
Oh, that's great.
All right, if we can find Shart between now and the end of the game, we'll try to bring him on. Can you? All right, what do you think the conversation is going to be like? It's going to be, hello, sir. Excuse me. Couldn't help but notice. I actually do really enjoy your jersey there that you've done. We actually have a show over there. We were wondering if you would come on to on camera briefly. I don't know.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw him. That guy's unbelievable.
I don't know if you know who I am, but my name's intern Andrew. Guy'd be like, "Oh my God, I've heard about intern Andrew."
I follow you on Twitter.
That's right, at intern Andrew. I hate it when you're at Andrew _Henry 5. What a stupid handle.
And you know the guy'd be a great guest because anybody that's got enough pizzazz to put that on his jersey is going to be a classic.
Pizzazz.
Can't find
Empty-handed.
Check that way too, Andrew.
Go that way.
Go that way. Go that way.
We're just gonna
Go, run, son, run.
Just for a minute.
Jesus, run for God's
He's
sake.
never moved with any urge. You know, I
Alacrity.
had to catch the light the other day. Now, there he goes.
Look at him run. Kid's a
hope-
good athlete too. Look at him go.
All right. We will. We obviously are going to be back for postgame, where more hilarity will ensue, and we'll break down whatever happens in the third. Guys, I think if nothing else, we were talking about this during the first intermission. As you start to look ahead, even to next week, to that Black Friday game, and about the breakdown of Rangers and Flyers fans, and trying to get more people back in the barn on Black Friday. A competitive game that goes down to the wire against Carolina is certainly something that could get people in through the turnstiles if they haven't already bought tickets.
They played them tough in Carolina last game. They fell down in the last 30 seconds of that game, if I'm not mistaken. It was the last minute. They're in this game, and they have every reason to believe they should be able to win this hockey game. But it's going to take a big effort here in the third period. They're going to have to find their game offensively if it's going to happen. Next goal wins, it's going to be an ugly one.
I'm with Bundy on that, although I do think there'll be an empty netter, too.
So you think it's going to be like a 3-1 final?
Yeah.
All right. I don't see intern Andrew coming back. Oh, there he is. Is he empty-handed? Oh, he shrugs.
Can't find
All right,
Sharp.
if we can, post-game, we will bring
we'll try and
Sharp
bring Sharp
on as a...
We'll try to find him.
Try and find him, yep.
And if not, we'll wipe the record of him ever being brought up on the show.
Seville!
What? Are we going to get Seville to do it?
No, I got to talk to him. You got to wrap
No,
up
we
here.
could get Seville
All right,
to bring
good
Sharp.
job, Joe.
No? Okay.
Thanks,
We'll be
buddy.
back post-game here on the Press Row Show. Like the video, share the video, subscribe.
What are the
Bye.
odds of us getting...
Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. And it is a game where for 40 minutes, the Flyers hung in there. They held their own. They tied the game up. And then the third period happened.
you know
and
what?
Bundy, all the things that went well for them, all the
I'm trying to be
structural
calm, Russ,
things.
but you know what? I'm pissed off right now.
Oh.
I'm not happy a little bit about that third period. You know what? That was a winnable hockey game. And to start off the period like that, it was 10-1 shots on goal for Carolina with about 6 minutes.
It was 7 minutes in.
7 minutes into the period. That is absolutely disgusting to have come out and play a period that you could have won a hockey game.
Yep.
If I'm Torts and he's short tonight, I don't blame him because that was absolutely dreadful. Completely unaccounted for was every single Flyers player in the third period. I don't know what happened, but I'm pissed off. I'm not happy. There's been a lot of games. I understand losing some nights where they're in a rebuild. They're trying to find out who can play here. But that's a game tonight. It was 1-1. They battled back. They had control of the play at some points in the first two periods. And to just bow out like that completely is unacceptable. Absolute dumpster fire third period.
It was far from a decent showing at the end. You know, I made the prediction pregame that Fedotov was going to have a big game. For recapping for everybody, in the first period, they gave up a goal about 30 seconds in on a deflection. They played a strong remainder of that first period. They played a strong second period. What was it that fell apart the most? What's the thing?
Their compete level.
Yeah.
And that's the part that makes me crazy. That's unacceptable. You can control what you do on the ice by how you compete. But when you come out and you think you can go through the motions in a game against a Carolina team that preys on teams that take a break on you, they just go turn your lights out. And they turned the Flyers' lights out tonight. At the 7-minute mark of that third period, the game was over. It was done. Next goal wins. You're darn right it did.
Scott Lawton tonight, we talked about him during the intermissions. 8 minutes and 25 seconds on ice. That is the fewest minutes played by any player.
Those who, Lawton?
Lawton.
6 something?
8:25.
Well, he doubled his shifts in the third period. That's because their game was over.
Yep. It was an absolutely brutal game out of him. Does he look like he's injured?
Well, if he's injured, then he shouldn't be playing. It's as simple as that.
A lot of guys play injured, right?
Well, no, you play hurt. You don't play injured.
All right, semantics. So,
Yeah.
all right, so
right,
fine.
there you
so,
go. No, it's
all
true.
right, so fine. Does he look like he's playing hurt to you?
I don't know. Okay. No. I just think he ended up in the Chateau Bow Wow.
For a period and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
You know who ended up running down here? Pretty even playing time. Konechny and Couturier, the most minutes played. Farabee just under that, just under 19 minutes. Tippett, Mishkov, both over 17 minutes. Then Forster, Paling.
What was Sanheim tonight?
Sanheim played 24 minutes and 40 seconds. Led the team.
They slowed him up in the third period once the game got away.
Interesting.
I think he was at like 20 minutes.
He was at 20 minutes after 2. Close.
Something like that.
Or no, it was a little bit less than that.
Was it? Yeah, it was close. It was close to 20.
Interesting note from this game that we talked about during one of the intermissions as well was the pair that John Tortorella seemed to play as the second pair in this game, Helge Grant and Igor Zamula. Recapping for the people who only listen to Postgame or listen in the feed, what is it about those two that you think made Tortorella go in that direction, give them more of a look than the pairing of Sealer and Johnson?
Well, I mean, I think that you had Sealer not having a good game last game, and Grans did have a good game.
He didn't again tonight, Sealer, either.
Yeah. Grans had a good game last game. I thought he was good the first two periods. Happened to be on the ice for at least one of the goals in the third period, maybe two. So, I got to really rewatch to look at those plays to see if the defense did anything wrong. I know the one goal was a turnover by Paling, so that's not on the D-men in that spot. But they certainly, over the last couple games, have been better than Sealer, and then Eric Johnson's just that he's the extra guy, but he's in the lineup because of injuries. So I think that Torts looked at it and said, "Hey, Zamula's been playing better. Give him a little bit of a look, and Grans, let's see how he does with more responsibility." Overall, I can say with certainty 5 pretty good periods from him. Third period, nobody was good. So I look at it and say you're probably happy with that for his first 2 games in the NHL.
Can you guys humor me on something here? Because it's something that I think has continued to rear its ugly head this season, and it's something that's kind of maddening to me, at least. Bundy, I'd love to get your thoughts. The Flyers don't shoot the puck. Like,
No.
the forwards especially don't shoot the puck. I just want to run people through this really quick. Matvei Michkov and Richard both led the team in shots on, led all forwards in shots on goal. 2 apiece.
That's
it.
It's not enough. No.
Bobby Brink, 1. Couturier, Farabee, Forster, Konechny, Lawton, Paling, Tippett. All 1 shot on goal.
What were third period shots on goal total?
I
I'm
think
going
they
to say
had 3,
was it
4?
17-3, maybe something like that. I think it might have been 17-3 or 4.
All I know it was 27-8 over the last 40 minutes.
It was 20-15 at the end of 2, right?
It was 20-15. So then it was 17.
17-4.
17-4 in the third.
Well, it was 10-1 in the first 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's when Carolina scored their 3
Yeah,
goals.
that's ridiculous. That was not the pace the game was played at.
Yeah.
The Flyers should be ashamed of themselves tonight. They really should.
Is there?
Well, you know what it was in my mind, Bundy. I thought like they kind of caught Carolina napping a little bit in the first period, and Flyers had some good defensive momentum in the second period, and so it ended up being a defensive period. I don't think that they were prepared for Carolina to say, okay, screw it, boys, we're going to go out there and play, at another level, and the Flyers were just not ready for it. They got punched in the mouth quick, and it was like, uh-oh.
They did.
Right? I mean, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, and the 2-1 goal, I said that was it. That might have still done it, but boy, did Carolina pour it on right after that. That was a frustrating. I'm sorry. That was a very, very. See you, Mike. That was a very frustrating third period to watch, because it wasn't like they were playing bad and they were in the game. They were playing well enough to win the hockey game after the 40 minutes of play, and they needed to really grind out a third period, and they didn't. They just went totally soft on Carolina. And Carolina, as I said, they will make you pay like not a lot of other teams do.
They look like a winning team.
They're a puck possession. Hang on to it. And if you're not able to go get the puck from them, they're going to hurt you in the offensive zone. And that's exactly what happened tonight. You watch it in real time.
Just to respond to, I know Andrew put ECW and WWF's comment up. Carolina scored a goal 30 seconds in. Who was not ready for who? First of all, that goal was it deflected off of a body, right? You can't really do anything about that. So that's not.
That was the best goal of the game they scored. The most worthy goal.
Yeah, it was most worthy. But the point is that that's not indicative of a team got off fast and the other team got off slow. No, that was just if you watch the game from that point to the start of the third period, it was a very even hockey game between the two teams. Doesn't mean it was a good game, but it was an even hockey game. That's all we're saying. It's not like it was the third period where Carolina took it to another level and the Flyers couldn't keep up.
I'm at a loss.
Yeah, because you were the one guy who picked the Flyers tonight. That's why you took a loss.
Well, listen, I think that this is one of those games where if you break down each goal that was given up, there were 2 deflections that Fedotov didn't really have a chance on, and there was one that was Paling that lost the forward going across the face of goal.
We got a turnover on the one goal.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it was.
There was definitely one. I think it was the second game of the goal was the dribbler that Fedotov had to have. So it was the first goal of the third period. I don't think he played a bad game, in all honesty.
Who, Fedotov?
Yeah, Fedotov.
Yeah, you gotta.
This is going to be one of those games where people who didn't watch the entire game or are going to catch up on it after the fact are going to say, "Oh,
look,
Carolina dominated," which they did. But Fedotov,
he made 30. He made
really
33
strong.
saves.
Yes.
Okay, one of them, the one goal, he needs to get. But if you're looking for progression in play, I thought it was a pretty solid game overall for him. You'd like to have that second goal back. That's one you cannot give up. But if it wasn't for the plays that he made in the first and second period, they're behind going into the third, like significantly. He stopped a 2-on-none in the first period. The flurry at the end of the second period was crazy, and yet
third star of the game, Fedotov.
Well, I mean, I thought he was good. I really did think he was good. Again, the one goal Torts is going to be not happy about the second goal because it changes the momentum of the game too, right? It knocks the momentum down for your team. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and say, he was fantastic, but he kept them in it for 2 periods.
Yes.
I mean, you can only ask a goalie to do so much. You can't expect Ivan Fedotov to hold a Stanley Cup caliber Carolina team to 1 goal and say, all right, boys, go win this game 2-1. You got to score more than that. You just do. And so that's not on the goalie tonight.
This very much felt like one of those games where you just say, like, the talent isn't there. You know, like, you can be critical at points in the season of coaching. You can be critical at points of the season of hustle and work ethic. And, you know, Bundy kind of called out there that in the third, they didn't have it. They didn't bring the jump. They didn't bring the jam. There are times where, like, this team is going to struggle to score because, they can put the puck in the net some games. They just don't have very elite scorers. They don't. They don't have a sniper. They don't have a lot of guys that you would say are legitimate 20, 25 goal scorers on this team. You have a lot of guys that you hope for on upside. You hope that Tippett develops. You hope that Forster develops. You have Konechny. You paid Konechny like a superstar. You better hope that he's going to put the puck in the net. Couturier is going to continue to be a work in progress. You just hope that at some point he bounces back. And Mishkov is going to be a guy that is going to probably go through some spurts and some streaks. One of the things that we will talk about this week on a regular Snow the Goalie that we probably won't do from the studio, I think next week is going to be the start of the studio shows. This week will probably just be from home. Tortorella talked about Mishkov and how he's coaching him during one of the, I think it was the pregame with TNT. I want to break that down on the episode later this week. I think it would be doing it an injustice to...
I agree with you. There would be injustice to do it now,
disservice now.
But I'll give a little tease that I may disagree with you a little bit on it.
I'm shocked that you and I aren't going to agree on something.
Well, no, but I think I'm going to disagree with your initial premise, and then when you hear what my disagreement is, I think you'll be right there with me.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a tease for everybody.
A little tease.
But yeah, Tortorella had a lot to say about how he's coaching Mishkov. And I think that the best way for us to do it is going to be when we do a regular Snow the Goalie this week, and we'll play it in its entirety, or we'll kind of interrupt it. But it was interesting. It's really the first insight that he's given into how he's coaching Matvei Mishkov, especially through the language barrier. So we'll get to that. Tonight's not the time, and we can't make it work here in postgame. But guys, they're back at it on Saturday.
We get a couple days off.
Thank goodness.
This for
yeah.
Yes, schedule's coming out as fast and furious.
It is.
Yes.
It's going to start getting crazy.
And then December, they only have 5 home games in the month of December.
Yes, but there's a lot of games.
Yeah, so we've got Chicago comes to town Saturday afternoon. Then Monday night, Flyers back here hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. They go on the road against Nashville. Then Black Friday, we are back out here as the Flyers host the Rangers. So a lot coming up.
And they play the day after that, too.
Hey, guess what?
Yes, they do.
The Sixers are getting trashed again tonight.
Are they?
Yeah.
I saw Embiid had
They were down 20. Oh, they're down 11 now with 4 minutes left.
Embiid had like 10 points in the first 9 minutes or something.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. You know, Tyrese Maxey has to call him out. You know, Tyrese Maxey, the guy with the infectious smile and like the radiates positivity. He's got to call out the franchise center for being late.
If they were 7-7, we wouldn't talk about them, but we can't.
Oh, 2-11, soon to be 2-12 against the Grizzlies team.
Sixers were favored tonight too.
I'll scream about it on the Russ Joy Show on Friday morning at 8:30
All right,
a.m.
Russ.
There you go.
Great job tonight,
You
buddy.
going on TV again tonight, or?
No, I only do that once every couple weeks.
Oh, okay. Bundy, you got anything fun going on for the people to check in on?
No, looking forward to seeing you guys Saturday afternoon game. It's a 1:00 against Connor Bedard and Luke Richardson and the Chicago Blackhawks.
That'll be an interesting one. Mishkov against Bedard. Just because of, where they were drafted and what the thoughts were about, if Mishkov hadn't been a Russian player, maybe going to be coming over here late. Interesting.
I am going to have an announcement soon.
Okay, good.
Personal.
Oh, I have so many inappropriate jokes I can make, but I won't make them.
Yes.
Sounds good.
And it will...
Is it that you removed Ant Jr. from the will and you put Internation in?
That's what it is. That's what it is. But I think Flyers fans will be happy to hear what my announcement's going to be. But give it another week or so.
John Tortorella accepted your invitation to Thanksgiving dinner.
Just give it about another week, and then I'll make an announcement.
I mean, is that what it was?
No, that wasn't it.
That silly podcast.
Sports. No.
You're not having dinner with Torts?
No.
I was watching the TV there, guys, too, keeping an eye on the Sixers game. It looks like Embiid's hurt.
He's hurt?
I am shocked.
Paul George left the game with an injury also.
You know what happens when we go off the rails here in the press
You know what
row show?
happened? Hey, you know what? When we find out, we're going to ask.
What happened there?
It's my new favorite drop. What happened there?
That's awesome.
What happened there?
I love it. We can't hear it. I didn't even see it. I was like,
It was
I was
there.
waiting for it. I was like, what?
It was. Now you can't hear it. It's okay.
But
All right.
I want to thank everybody who tuned in here live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We will be back on Saturday. If you haven't done so already, I know I say it a lot, but like the video, share the video, subscribe, and if you can,
Please do that.
Go to the regular comments after the stream is over. Go to the regular comments. Drop in there something that you were happy about, something you agreed with, disagreed with, something you want us to talk about on regular Snow the Goalie this week, on Saturday's Press Row Show. You let us know. We did have a question about the tailgate. Greg from Vineland came up here. He defended his defending an appreciation of intern Andrew. He came up here in person. We respect that. We may disagree, but he wants, I think he wants intern Andrew to run the entire show, perhaps boot the three of us off. So,
By the way, Greg and I both got the score right tonight.
you did 4. Wait, was that 4-1?
Yeah.
This is the first time all season. I brought this up to you.
I
This is
actually
the first
remembered Andrew
time,
said that, yeah.
first time the entire season that somebody on this panel has had the correct score. That's the first 2-pointer. We're doing the 2-pointer, right?
2-pointer for a correct score.
2-pointer for the correct score.
Congratulations.
Good
tonight,
on you,
yeah.
kid.
First place
Which
intern
now,
intro.
that is first place on his own. That takes him to 12 points on the season. Bundy 11, Ant 10, and I have 9.
He's gonna lose 3 points Saturday when Penn State loses to Minnesota.
And with that,
Good night, everybody. We'll talk to you Saturday here on the Press Row Show, and before that, hopefully, with Snow the Goalie. Talk to you soon.